Well, hello, it's Nancy today. We're coming to you today from the hammock. I'm enjoying it very much. So today is Sunday, the 27th or something or 28th. I don't know, it's a Sunday and it's around the 27th. And we just had L. Tom Perry come to the Athens Stake for Stake Conference. I tell you, it was really nice. Oh, my hand is in front of something. Oh, I see. There it is. I wondered what that shadow was. Okay. So L. Tom Perry, he is a member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, and he came to speak to us today. I was very blessed to be able to be there. I love his deep voice and the way he bears his testimonies, his testimony of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and of the restoration of the gospel and of Jesus Christ. And he knows that Jesus Christ lives. It was very good to hear him talk. He talked about each of the prophets that have been leading the church in his lifetime. They lead until they die. And he talked about his father, that when he was growing up, they lived near President Grant. And so his father wanted a job. And he went to President Grant's house to apply for a job to watch over the farm work or the barn or whatever. And so he was given an interview with the prophet's wife, and the prophet interviewed and asked him if he can do dishes. And of course he'd never done dishes because he came from a family with lots of girls, and back in those days the men went out in the field and did field work and the women were in the house doing the house stuff. Anyway, so he said he didn't know anything much about doing dishes, and she says, well, now this is a very big house, a very beautiful house, and could you do a good job of taking care of the prophet's house? Now, the church does not provide houses for people. It's not that he has this big house because he's a prophet because of the church. It's just that he had this house. Anyway, so he said again, he says, well, no, I've never done any housework. I've never done housework. He was feeling pretty badly about this job interview and the way it was going. It wasn't looking too promising. And then she said, and have you ever milked a cow? Well, he brightened right up. He knew everything there was to know about cows. He had been taking care of cows all his life. Anyway, so he got the job. So Elder L. Tom Perry's father then worked there. And he told some of the stories from his growing up. I was just really touched with his spirit. He told a story, or maybe it was Elder Gay who told the story. It might have been Elder Gay, or no, Elder Gay. He's now a member of the 70. He's just been called into the Quorum of 70. The 70s are over the missionary work throughout the world. Anyway, so Elder Gay said that he's just been called to preside over the Guatemala temple. And when they had been looking for this temple property, now wait a minute, Elder Perry said something about when President Hinckley was prophet, whenever they would arrive somewhere, he would ask if there was time to go to some stakes. A stake is the stake buildings. A stake is an area of the church. I guess it would be like a diocese. It's bigger than a congregation. It's about 7 to 10 congregations. I don't know how many people that would be. They split a ward when it gets to 500. Or something like that. So, anyway. So he went to look at these. He would go to a stake and he would walk around, pace out around the building pace out, and he says, nope, not big enough for a temple. And we go to another one. So President Hinckley was always looking for places to build temples, and there the amount of temples has increased from a small handful to quite a list, 120 or I don't know, throughout the world. A temple is not like a chapel. A chapel is where we have our Sunday meetings. It's where we go to church. Whereas a temple is where we do work for other people. We do ordinances and make covenants. It's very sacred and holy. It's not like you don't take your children there and, have crying babies and things like that. It's just very holy and very whatever. Anyway, so Elder Gay was talking about when he went with, I don't remember who exactly he went with, but he went with another one of the leaders of the church down to Guatemala, and they were looking for a place to build the temple. And so they kept looking at land, and they were looking and looking and looking, and then they found a perfect place. And they said to somebody, this is where we would like to build the temple, and they said, well, there's 5 important families in Guatemala, and that's one of them that owns this, and I don't know how in the world you're ever going to get a temple here. Actually, I think it was at the site of the home of that very prominent person. So he says, well, we'll see. We'll just go talk to them. And so Elder Gay went with him, and they went to the door and asked to speak to him. And when they were talking to him, he said, no, Elder Gay was not there. It was 2 other people. And they got there, and the man that owned the land said, oh, well, do you know so-and-so Robert Gay and Mitt Romney? And he says, yes. He says, well, they have always been honest with me in all the business that we've done. They've always been honest and above board. So I'm glad to talk to you. They're in your church. I'm glad to talk to you. Come on in. And so they talked about wanting to buy the land. And they wanted to buy actually where his house was. So he says, well, there's a piece of place that I think you might like even better, which is just around here. And so he took him out and showed him, and it was actually a more perfect place for this, which was right nearby. And so that's how the church acquired the land for the Guatemala temple. And Elder Gay was telling us about this incident. He said that now, if he had been, if he and Mitt, as he called him, had been underhanded in their business actions, the church would never have acquired the land for the temple, for the Guatemala temple. And it really matters what you do, and the things you do, and who you are, and blah 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 blah. Anyway, I thought that was interesting that this was the man that had worked with Mitt Romney. I have not really felt that much of an affinity to Mitt Romney. I'm not into politics, and I'm not really a respecter of persons. I don't think somebody's better because of their, I think that their standards make them a good person. It has nothing to do with their finances. Anyway, so this was an interesting little insight that he gave to that. That was Elder Gay, who is a member of the Quorum of 70 now. But L. Tom Perry, I've listened to him talk in conferences for years and years. He's always been a general authority my whole life, 35 years in the church, 36, 37. I guess it'll be 36. Anyway, and he'll talk in general conference, and he has, his voice is very memorable. It's deep, and it's kind of got a bit of an accent. It's kind of unforgettable. But The thing that is about him that I like is the spirit that he carries with him. He's a very spiritual man, and he's very committed to living the gospel and to obeying the commandments, keeping his covenants. He's a good example. Anyway, so that was my day at church. It was very nice. I really had a good time. It was quite special, actually, to be able to be there. And, you know, I am in a place here where I am not really familiar. I did grow up here, but there's a difference in being a child of a family and being the husband or wife. And so I'm a little bit out of my element. I mean, I'm here enough. You think it would be my element now, but it isn't. So it was really good to be there and hear Elder Perry, because he's really entwined in my past. Every 6 months I hear him talk. And it's been that way for 35 years. We have general conference, and the whole church gathers to their own areas and listens, or reads now, or listens on the internet or something. Anyway, I love being a Mormon, a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's amazing how everywhere you go in the world, the church is the same, people are the same. I saw people there today that work at the temple. It was really cool to see the same people, and I didn't realize they were in Athens, because they're not in the same ward as me, and it was really neat. Anyway, so that's a little short update. Well, it's not short anymore. It's a long update. All right, well, so I'll talk to you later. Bye.